You are welcome to this lesson, and in today's lesson we are going to learn how to create Excel workbook using VBA. How to create Excel workbook using VBA. Now, when you want to create Excel workbook without the VBA, you can use this format or this formula. You go to where you want to create your Excel workbook. Just right click. Let's say on the desktop, just right click, select new, then you go and select Microsoft Excel workbook. When you click on it, it will create the Excel workbook on your screen. Then you will be allowed to edit the name there. So this is an Excel workbook. When you open it, you see a new workbook open for you. So that's one way of creating a workbook if your workbook is not open. Now, in case your workbook is open, so let's say for instance this is an existing workbook that I've opened. So with this, and you want to create a new workbook, you just go to File. That's another way of creating a new workbook. You open an existing Excel workbook, go to File, you go to New, then you click on this workbook, that blank workbook. So when you click on it, it will create a new workbook for you, and by default it will have book 1. So that is book 1. So this is a new workbook that has been created for you. So now we have two workbooks. We have the Macros Excel workbook, then we also have the book 1 Excel workbook. Okay, so this is the coding screen. Okay, so this is how we create workbook, but we can use Excel VBA to also create or do this task. So now let's go to our editor and see something. Now with editor, I've created a new model and I've created another new subroutine, and this is how the subroutine is. The first line of code, I have a subroutine called add workbook. So the first line will create a new workbook, but with this it will not give you a name, or it will not save the workbook for you. It will just create the workbook and give a default name. That's the first line of code, workbooks.add. Now, but the second line of code will create the workbook, but it will save the workbook in a certain location, in a defined location. So with this, the first workbook.add, the first line of code will create the workbook and try to save it. And when you save it, you will declare a file name, like the name that you want to save it, and where you want the file to be saved. So new macro book dot the dot XL, the XLSX is the file extension of the workbook that you are saving. So if you want to save it in this format, you just bring the extension, the file extension, then the name of the workbook that you want it to be saved with, then the location where you want it to be. For now, I want it to be saved in the D drive. So maybe you have another you have a folder on the D drive that you want it to be saved there. So you can also declare the folder name before the Excel workbook name. Okay, so this is the syntax that we are going to use to create the workbook, save it, and in a location, and a defined location. Okay, so now let's step into it and see. So now when you step into it for the first, by default we have book 1 as one book created. Okay, so let's create that one. Okay, let's maintain it, and then step into it. So we have book 1 as our workbook created. We also have macros also as our workbook. So now we're going to create a new workbook. It will it will have a name at book 2 because book 1 has already been created. So let's step into it. So when you step into it, you see that a new workbook has been created with what? Book 2. Now if you look at the task bar, you can see that they have book 1, book 2, and macros as the new workbook created, as the workbook created. Now before that, let's go to our drive. Let's go to our drive D and see if we have any Excel workbook created there. Okay, so we are going to use drive E, not drive D. Okay, so I'll edit the code there. Okay, so when you go to drive E, there's no Excel workbook here. There's no Excel workbook, so let's change this one to E. Okay, so we are going to save it in this workbook or in this folder or this location. So now let's step into it, and as we watch the folder that I've opened. So when you step into it, you're going to see that a new workbook has been created, which is what? New macro book. That's the name that I declared in the Excel in the code. And now let's go to the location and see if it is there. Now you can see that the new workbook has been created in this location. Now let's step out and let me do something. So now in this same drive E, we want to save it in a folder in drive E. So let's say our folder is let me create a new folder here. Let me get a new folder and then name it as let me say new. Let me use new, simple word new. Okay, so we have a new folder here. So we want it to be specifically saved in this one, not just in the drive, the E drive. So with this is what we're going to do. We come to the before the column here, then you type the folder name new. Type the folder name new. But before typing the folder name, you need to bring what? Your backslash. So the drive E backslash, then the folder, then backslash, then the folder, the new file name. So before that, let's open it and see if there is a folder. If there's a file in it. So now there's no file in it, so it's empty. So let's go to the code and then step into the game. Okay, for now we don't need this one, so let's delete this one so that I do not create any other additional sheet. So let's step into it. So now if you step into it, you see that's an error because the workbook, the name that we just created, it already exists or it is already open. So that means we cannot create any new book again. Okay, so now let's edit the name. Let's remove the name from it so that it will have a unique name, and then step into it again. Now you can see that a new book has been created, which is a macro book. So now let's go to our folder. Now this is the folder. Now if you open the folder, you're going to see the workbook that you created. Okay, so you can use this directory. So this is a folder. So maybe inside the new folder, there's another folder inside the new folder, and inside that folder you want to save what? The workbook. Let's use, for example, let me go back and let's say let me use this. You see, with this folder, you see that we have a folder and like this, and when you open the folder, there's another folder called 100 NITON. That means a folder in a folder. So with that, you can use this is what you're going to do. You first of all name the first folder. So the first folder is what? Is paste. So you enter paste. Then you bring your forward slash backslash. Then the other folder in the paste is what is 100 NIKON. Okay, then the name that you want to keep it to your file is, let's say, macro training or macro training. Okay, so now let's step out and then step into it again. So now you open this file, you see that the file is empty. So we have the directory from here is that from the file path is that it will first of all direct you to the E drive. Then inside the E drive you have the PIX, that's the PIX folder. Inside the PIX folder you have this folder, and inside this folder is where you want your macro train Excel to be created. Okay, so now let's step into it. Okay, now you can see that macro train workbook has been created. Now let's go to the location. So the location, we have the drive E selected, then PIX folder. Then inside PIX folder we have this one. So when you open it, you should see the workbook that you have created. Okay, so this is how we declare the file path for our file name or for our file that we want to create it. Okay, so that is how we create workbook. So either you create a workbook then later save it, or you create a line of code that will save the workbook in a specified location in your system. Okay, so that will work for this training, and we continue in our next training. Bye bye. Or next lesson. Bye bye.